Hello everybody, and welcome to another paint along. Today I'm going to be showing you how we're going to start our paper demos and how I do that. So I've decided, in addition to using canvas, I would like to use some paper. We're going to be working on smaller sheets to do a few quicker and possibly easier demos to get a painting done in, say, half an hour or so. We'll see how long it ends up being, but basically something a little bit quicker than our usual paint along, which is about an hour to an hour and a half sometimes. So I've got this Canson mixed media paper, and it's good for acrylics, watercolors, pen and pencil. And essentially, you just want to look for something that you can paint on. So it doesn't have to be this exact kind, but it's a paper that's a little bit heavier weight that's going to allow it to take paint, acrylic paint. Okay, so I use the 9x12 sheets, and basically you just rip them out. There's a little perforation here. You can work with it just in the book if you prefer to do that. That's might be a good thing if you don't have a surface to tape your paper to. So I've also got this panel, which is just a piece of masonite that I cut down to a small size that fits on my table here. So it's just got a flat surface. One kind of smooth surface, but like I said, if you could tape your paper down to your table, or if you can't use your table because it's a really nice table, maybe just work straight from your book. But what I've done is just tear out a sheet of paper. I'm going to be working on, I think we'll keep working on the same sizes here, so to keep it easy. But basically I'm just going to tear off this perforated edge here. And then we're going to use this kind of quarter size. So it's a quarter of the page, just to keep it easy. So how I do that is fold my page in half. And I just crease it down the middle there with my thumb. And then you'll want a straight edge. You can use scissors or a knife. I just prefer this method here. So fold it back again. Do that a few times till you feel that it's made a nice crease. And then take your straight edge, line it up. Now I'm a lefty, so I put my ruler on the right hand side and I tear with my left hand, but if you're righty, you'll want to do the opposite, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm kind of ambidextrous, so I use both hands sometimes, but just line your straight edge up to that crease, and we're just going to tear it. Now we want to pull it towards the ruler here and kind of down as well. So you can do it in a few motions here. There we go. And if you're using really thick paper, it gives you that nice deckled edge, like a watercolor, really heavyweight watercolor paper. So I just do that one more time, fold it in half, and that gives me a quarter of that 9x12 sheet. So we get something 4.5 by 6, roughly. Doesn't have to be the exact same size. Use what you've got. Okay, and just take my straight edge and do the same thing here. There we go. Show you one more time. Fold it in half. Now these demos are kind of like little bit more for practice and to just be able to have a bit of a quicker paint along session with you. So you can paint on paper. If you want to paint on canvas, you can. I just like to be able to do more, and so to save myself a little bit of money, I'm going to be using paper for these ones, but use whatever you like. You can paint on wood, you can paint on anything. Okay, so I've got a bunch of these made up now. I'm also going to be providing sketches similar to our other paint-alongs for this, and how I would do these at home. I've got a file that's going to be attached to each paint-along, and so what you can do is just print them off. You can print a bunch off at a time if you like, but how I would do it is to try to print 4 on one sheet. And that way you'll get the exact same size, roughly the same size here is what we're working on if you want to trace it. So you can try to print 4 of them at a time, or just when you're printing, there's usually an option to print the size. And so I selected the one that does 4 at a time so that I know they're going to fit onto this quarter sheet here. Okay. And then what I want to do is tape it onto my board here. So figure out which way I'm working. And I think the first one I'm going to do is portrait. So I'll just find a good spot there. And I just use this painter's tape. It's actually something you can buy at the dollar store. It's nice because it doesn't tear usually when you pull it off. The other thing is taping it down is going to hold the paper down fairly flat while we're working on it, and it gives us a nice little border on here as well. So what I like to do is just kind of cover half the paper with the tape and half on the board, roughly. It can be a little hard to see it, but if it's just kind of a demo here, so not to worry. And that's just going to give us a nice little white border, but mostly it's to hold this down in place so it's not shifting around. And as you paint, the paper might buckle a little bit, so that will keep it flat. Okay, so I've got my paper taped down, and then essentially we're just going to use the same method we use for the canvas to transfer our image here. So I'll put some chalk on the back. Shake that extra dust off. Okay, and then just tape that in place. Now my tape might be a little tight on this one, so we'll see how it goes, but I'm just going to tape a couple spots down here. That's okay if it cuts off a little. I actually kind of like that idea. Okay. So I got my mechanical pencil. Any pencil or pen would work fine for this. And we're just going to trace it. Again, not worrying too much about detail because we are painting it. So don't worry about getting every single thing 100%. Just a guideline. Our brush is not nearly as accurate as a pencil, so not to worry there. I thought this pea pod would be kind of a fun little exercise. So essentially these guys are going to be quick paintings, quicker than our other ones on the larger canvas. Okay, let's peel that back and see if it worked. Ta-da! Very nice. Okay, Now, if you want to set that aside, you can just use that off to the side for like a little reference. Okay, and we'll get started painting. So that's basically how you want to set up your paper demos. Okay, thanks for watching.